Debtors or the receivables. So this word receivables effectively denotes the combination of the debtors and the debtors who have given any bill to the holder known as the bills receivable. So the together of the two will constitute the receivables and they are an inherent requirement of every successful business. And why we are saying that? Because business will prosper only if there are sales, and you can't make all the sales on cash. Though you want to make cash sales as much as possible, but तब भी आपके बिजनेस की जरूरत है कि आपको क्रेडिट पे सेल करनी पड़ेगी, उधार पे सेल करनी पड़ेगी. So the point is that you are not under voluntarily option, but you have to make a credit sale to maintain the desired level of market share, or you say to capture the customer base, you will have to make the credit sale. So what the point here is all about that when you enter into the credit sale, then you are doing the production by incurring the cost in cash, but the goods which were produced and they were meant to convert it into cash and bring convert it into sales, and the objective was that when this sale will be made, there will be cash, and this cash will again be utilized in the production process and taking off the profit from the share. But what is happening here that if the sale is made on credit, then you effectively are not getting the cash to be reintroduced in the production process, and instead to maintain the proper production cycle, you are incurring or you are investing more and more cash. So that is why when a business gets involved in credit sales, then there is a further investment of the cash. Though when the creditors will, sorry, the debtors will pay, then this cash will come back and they can withdraw this cash. So this cash investment is a short-term requirement, and preferably it will come back into the cash within a period of 1 year. That is why we say that they constitute the current assets because they are going to come back into the cash position in a period of short of 1 year. So if the credit sale is high, then you will have to invest more and more and more of the cash. So high credit sales will require your short-term requirements of the cash. And that is where their optimization comes into play because it denotes that to maintain the sales at the desired level, so to increase or to attain the objective of maximizing the profit, you are forced to go for the credit sales, and this credit sales will increase your cash requirement. So as I speak, my words itself hints कि भाई क्रेडिट सेल अच्छी बात है क्योंकि इससे आपका प्रॉफिट बढ़ रहा है, और क्रेडिट सेल शायद इसलिए अच्छा नहीं है क्योंकि इससे आपकी कैश की रिक्वायरमेंट बढ़ रही है, और अगर आपकी कैश की रिक्वायरमेंट पड़ेगी, आपको ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी पड़ेगी, तो देयर विल बी फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट to bear. So the primary objective of the creation of receivables, and why we are using the word management, because on one way they increase the profit, and on the other way they increase the cash requirement, and when there is an increase in cash requirement, then there is an increase in the cash cost. Cash cost denotes that cost of arranging the cash for further investments. So we have to match that if the cost of maintaining this extra investment, because this will always be the interest, that is the rate of return, and if there increase in the profit, so we have to compare this cost of funding with the incremental profit, and if we believe that the incremental profit is more, then we can always go for the credit sales. अब इसके अलावा एक और भी फैक्टर है जो इम्पोर्टेंट है, एंड दैट फैक्टर इज दैट when you are making this credit sales, then some of the creditors, because they are unsecured, no security is being given by them, sorry, these debtors, they are unsecured because they have not given any security. So what is happening कि आपने उनको माल बेचा इस उम्मीद में कि वो आपको फ्यूचर में कैश पे करेंगे, बट शायद दे may default. So the default may be voluntary that they जानबूझकर उन्होंने पैसे नहीं पे करे, और it can be involuntary that they go bankrupt or they also have certain financial problems. So whatever the reason is, that there may be a default in the collection. And then that default in the collection is what you call the bad debts. So these bad debts are a burden on the profit. So the primary focus of the word receivables management is the comparison of the pros and the cons. That is, if you follow a lenient credit policy which provide better credit terms or high credit period, then this will cause increased sales, and this increased sales will cause the incremental profit to the business. And this is what motivates any industry, any business to go for the credit sale increase. But this will have equivalent increase in the amount of bad debts, and it will also increase the cost of funding. This will also increase this cost of the funding. So what we have to do, that we have to compare this incremental profit, which is a positive, and the increase in the bad debts and increase in the cost of funding, which are the negative. And if we believe that the profits are more than the cost, whether in the form of bad debts or in the form of cost of funding, then we can go for a lenient credit policy. So what we have to understand, that we have to identify the optimum level of the receivables, because too much credit sale will always increase the quantum of the bad debts in accordance with the level of the buyers. Because if you are giving more and more credit sales, मतलब अगर आप बिना सोचे समझे उधार पे माल बेचे जा रहे हैं तो आप शायद ऐसे कुछ कस्टमर को पकड़ लें जो inherently they were not worth the credit worthiness. So there are bound to be increase in the bad debts in accordance or in addition to the cost of the funding. So there has to be a concept of the optimization कि यार कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि आपकी क्रेडिट सेल इतनी कम हो जाए कि आप मार्केट शेयर ही लूज कर दो, या फिर आपकी क्रेडिट सेल इतनी ज्यादा हो जाए कि आपने हर गधे घोड़े को माल बेच दिया और जिसने आपको पैसे देने से बाद में डिनाई कर दिया. सो वी हैव टू कंपेयर द वेरियस क्रेडिट policies, and then we have to choose the best one. So I can summarize on the note कि ना तो बहुत कम उधार बेचना अच्छा है, यानी कि अगर एक कंपनी सिर्फ कैश सेल पे फोकस करेगी या बहुत कम क्रेडिट सेल पे फोकस करेगी, then it may not be earning the profit or it may not be able to sustain in the market. और अगर एक कंपनी बहुत ज्यादा क्रेडिट सेल करेगी तो भी ये शायद पॉसिबल है कि कंपनी की प्रॉफिट तो बढ़ रहा है क्योंकि मार्केट शेयर बढ़ रहा है, कस्टमर्स बढ़ रहे हैं, क्रेडिट सेल्स बढ़ रही है, बट शायद उसकी कॉस्ट ऑफ फंडिंग के अलावा जो उसके bad debts हैं, they will have a huge negative impact, and that is why instead of the increase in the profit, there will be a downward decrease in the profits. So we have to go for that optimization, and for that, what we should focus, that we, for example, if a company is at the current pursuing a fall policy of providing 1 month credit, and then it plans that if we increase the credit period to 2 months or we increase the prep period to 3 months, then if the sales in the current period is say 10 lakhs and the total cost of sales is say at the rate 80%, and out of this 80% cost 50% is variable, so it means कि जो बाकी 30% है वो फिक्स्ड है, यानी कि 8 लाख की जो टोटल कॉस्ट हुई उसमें से 5 लाख तो वेरिएबल है और बाकी 3 लाख फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है. सो इफ द सेल्स इंक्रीजेस Only the variable cost will increase, but the fixed cost will remain same until and unless there is a special marked point about any specific increase in the fixed cost. For example, ज्यादा सेल करने के लिए ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन चाहिए तो शायद आपने नया प्रोडक्शन एरिया लिया जिसने आपकी रेंटल कॉस्ट बढ़ा दी। तो इफ यू प्रज्यूम कि अगर आप 3 मंथ के पीरियड पे जाओगे तो शायद आपकी फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट जो है वो 50,000 से बढ़ जाए। और ये इंक्रीज की पीरियड ऑफ सेल्स आपकी जो सेल्स है वो हर एक महीने पे 20-20% बढ़ा रही है। यानी कि यहाँ पर अगर आपकी सेल 12 लाख हुई तो यहाँ पर अगर आपकी सेल 14 लाख हो गई और वेरिएबल कॉस्ट जो है एट द रेट 50%, यहाँ 6 लैक्स होगी और यहाँ 7 लैक्स होगी। तो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग कि जो आपका प्रॉफिट था वो प्रॉफिट यहाँ 2 लाख आ रहा था, ये प्रॉफिट यहाँ 3 लाख हो गया और ये प्रॉफिट यहाँ 3,50,000 हो गया। 4 लाख प्रोपोर्शनेटली नहीं हुआ क्योंकि आपकी यहाँ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट बढ़ गई। तो देर इज अ मार्क्ड इंक्रीज इन द प्रॉफिट, बट द बैड डेट्स कैन आल्सो इंक्रीज। सो इफ आई से कि यहाँ पर बैड डेट्स 1% थे, यहाँ पे बैड डेट्स 2% है, यहाँ पे बैड डेट्स 3% है। सो इट मीन्स इस एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉफिट में से अगर मैंने एक्स्ट्रा बैड डेट्स माइनस करे या एब्सोलूट बैड डेट्स माइनस करे तो यहाँ बैड डेट्स 10 लाख का 1% यानी कि 10,000 है, यहाँ 12 लाख का 2% यानी कि 24,000 है और यहाँ 14 लाख का 3% यानी कि 42,000 है। So what is happening that there is a marked increase in the bad debts and also the increase will be in the cost of the funding. So if we presume a rate of return of 20%, so for all purposes the debtors will be valued at the cost. So यहाँ पर जो debtors होंगे आपके the first month में as per the debt collection period concept 8 लाख के debtors और 1 मंथ की होल्डिंग। यहाँ पे 9 लाख की टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ डेटर्स है लेकिन 2 मंथ की होल्डिंग है और यहाँ 10,50,000 के डेटर्स पर 3 मंथ की होल्डिंग है। तो यू विल सी that there is a marked increase in the debtors here. So if you calculate, then the debtors in the first case will be 8 lakhs divided by 12. This will come out to be the total debtors of 66667. In the second case, the debtors will be 9 lakhs and they will come out to be 1,50,000. And in the third case, the debtors, this is 3 by 12, the debtors will be 2,62,500. So there is an increased blocking of the funds. And if we assume the rate of interest of 20%, so the interest lost here was 1,333. The interest lost here will be 30,000 and the interest that will be lost here will be 52,500. So you will see that though the increased credit policy is causing the profit to increase, but it is also causing an increase in the bad debts as well as in the interest. So as I said, if we compare the positives with the negative, then the net profit after covering for such cost in the first case it will come out to be that out of the profit of 2 lakhs, if we deduct this bad debts and the interest cost, the net profit here is 1,667. In the second case, the profit will come out to be 2,46,000. And in the third case, the profit on the similar lines will come out to be 2,55,500. तो यू आर सीइंग द जिस प्रोपोर्शन में प्रॉफिट यहाँ इंक्रीज किया उस प्रोपोर्शन में प्रॉफिट ने यहाँ इंक्रीज नहीं किया क्योंकि यहाँ पर एक एक्स्ट्रा फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट इनकर हुई है। बट the incremental profit is able to outsource or we should say to outlaw या ये कहा सिंपल भाषा में कि जो इंक्रीमेंटल प्रॉफिट है वो कहीं ज्यादा है इंक्रीमेंटल बैड डेट्स और इंक्रीमेंटल कॉस्ट ऑफ फंडिंग से एंड दैट इज व्हाई दिस data supports the increase in the credit policy from the present 1 month to either 2 month or the 3 month as per the requirements of the business, or if we want to select the best out of the three, then as per this scenario, the 3 month period will be the best credit period available. So in this way, we can compare the pros and cons of the debtors policy, the receivables policy, and choose for the most lenient